once again, people watching my videos. My name is Super Junk Gaming, and as I promised, I'm doing a commentary reading on the Rake. If you guys can't see the link up above, it's creepypasta.wikia. I'll put the description. Here, let me copy and paste it right now. Select all. Select all. Okay. So, this is a very creepy picture. I will give them props for that. So I heard that this, when I was reading the Slenderman one, I did hear that this was kind of like a gory version of the Slenderman, like a legit, like, attacks and murders on site. So here we go, let's read through this. It says it said in the first one that it's not too long. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to read the logs. It doesn't look like there's much in there. It's just a story. Go all the way down to the bottom. There is videos. I didn't record it or upload it. I did play the game based on the Rake. I think it's the Rake Back to Asylum or something like that. I did play a game based on this, and it was very creepy. It was very scary too. So let's read this. Okay. During the summer of 2003, events in the northeastern United States involving a strange human-like creature sparked brief local media interest before the apparent blackout was enacted. Little or no information was left intact, as most outline and written accounts of the creature were mysteriously destroyed. Primarily focused in rural New York State and once found in Idaho, self-proclaimed witnesses told stories of their encounters with a creature of unknown origins. Emotions ranged from extremely traumatic levels of fright and discomfort to an almost childlike sense of playfulness and curiosity. All of their published versions are no longer on record. Swag! Oh my god! This happened in this Slenderman one too! Okay. While their published versions are no longer on record, the memories remain powerful. Several of the involved parties began looking for answers that year. In early 2006, a collaboration had accumulated nearly 24 documents dating between the 12th century and present day, spanning 4 continents. In almost all cases, the stories were identical. I've been in contact with a member of this group, and it was able to get some excerpts from there. And was able to get an excerpt from their upcoming book. A Suicide Note, 1964. As I prepare to take my life, I feel it necessary to assuage any guilt or pain I have introduced through this act. It is not the fault of anyone other than him. For once I awoke and felt his presence, and once I awoke I saw his form. Once again I awoke and I heard his voice and looked into his eyes. I cannot sleep without fear of what I might next awake to experience. I cannot ever wake. Goodbye. Found in the same one box are 2 envelopes addressed to William and Rose, and 1 loose personal letter with no envelope. Dearest Lenny, I have prayed for you. He spoke your name. A journal entry translated from Spanish from 1880. I have experienced the greatest terror. I have experienced the greatest terror. I have experienced the greatest terror. I see as... Hang on, guys. I'll be right back. It'll take me seconds. Hang on. I'll be back. I gotta do some crap, man. Okay. Sorry, okay. I see his eyes when I closed mine. They are hollow, black. They saw me and pierced me. His wet hand. I will not sleep. His voice, and then unintelligible text. Okay, this is kind of creepy. It's creepy. A Mariner's Log, 1691. He came to me in my sleep from the foot of my bed, and I felt a sensation. He took everything. We must return to England. We shall not return here again at the request of the Rake. From a witness in 2006. So this is fairly new. It's 2013, I think. A good 7 years, so. 3 years ago, I had just returned from a trip from Niagara Falls with my family for the 4th of July. We were all very exhausted after a long day of driving, so my husband and I put the kids right next to the bed right to bed and called it a night. About 4 a.m., I woke up thinking my husband had gotten up to use the restroom. I used the moment to steal back the sheets, only to wake him in the process. I apologize. I'm a grammar Nazi. Apologized. Not A-P-P. That's apologized. I'm going to say it like that. I apologized and told him I thought he got out of bed. I think there's supposed to be a T after this. When he turned to face me, he gasped and pulled his feet from the end of the bed so quickly that his knee almost knocked me out of the bed. Then he grabbed me and said nothing. After adjusting to the dark for half a second, I was able to see what caused this strange reaction. At the foot from the bed, facing away from us, there was what appeared to be a naked man or a large hairless dog of some sort. Its body position was disturbing and unnatural, as if it had been hit by a car or something. For some reason, I was not instantly frightened by it, but more concerned as to its condition. At some point, I was somewhat under the assumption that we were supposed to help him. My husband was peering over his arm and knee, tucked into the fetal position, occasionally glancing at me before returning to the creature. In a flurry of motion, the creature scrambled around the side of the bed and then crawled quickly into the flailing sort of motion right along the bed until it was less than a foot from my husband's face. The creature was completely silent for about 30 seconds, or probably closer to 5. It just seemed like a while. Just looking at my husband. The creature then placed its hand on his knee and ran into the hallway leading to the kids' rooms. I screamed and ran for the light switch, planning to stop him before he hurt my children. When I got to the hallway, the light from my bedroom was enough to see it crouching and hunched over about 20 feet away. Move it up. He turned around and looked directly at me, covered in blood. I flipped the switch on the wall and saw my daughter, Clara. The creature ran down the stairs while my husband rushed to help our daughter. She was very badly injured and spoke once more in her short life. She said, "He is the Rake." I had to do that, I'm sorry. Okay. My husband drove his car into a lake at night while rushing our daughter to the hospital. They did not survive. Well, that sucks. That sucks. Wow. Huh. Being a small town, news got around pretty quickly. The police were helpful at first, and the local newspaper took a lot of interest as well. However, the story was never published, and the local television news never followed up either. For several months, my son Justin and I stayed in a hotel near my parents' house. After we decided to return home, I began looking for answers myself. I eventually located a man in the next town over who had a similar story. We got in contact and began talking about our experiences. He knew of 2 other people in New York who had seen a creature we now referred to as the Rake. It took the 4 of us about 2 solid years of hunting on the internet and writing letters to come up with a small collection of what we believed to be the accounts of the Rake. None of them gave any details, history, or follow-up. One journal had an entry involving the creature in its first 3 pages and never mentioned it again. A ship's log explained nothing of the encounter, saying only that they were told to leave by the Rake. That was the last entry in the log. There were, however, many instances of a creature's visit was one of a series visits with the same person. Multiple people also mentioned being spoken to, my daughter included. This led us to wonder if the Rake had visited any of us before our last encounter. I set up a digital recorder near my bed and left it running all night, every night for 2 weeks. I would tediously scan through each sound of me rolling around in my bed each day when I woke up. By the end of the 2nd week, I was quite used to the occasional sound of sleep while blurring through the recording 8 times at normal speed. This took almost an hour every day. On the first day of the 3rd week, I thought I heard something different. What I found was a shrill voice. It was the Rake. I can't listen to it long enough to even begin to transcribe it. I haven't let anyone listen to it yet. All I know is that I've heard it before, and now I believe it spoke when it was sitting in front of my husband. I don't remember hearing anything at the time, but for some reason my voice recorder immediately brings me back to that moment. The thoughts that must have gone through my daughter's head made me very upset. I have not seen the Rake since he ruined my life, but I know that he has been in my room while I slept. I know and fear that one night I'll wake up to see him staring at me. Now, these 3 things, the read more type things, I I think I'm gonna do one of those, probably the Asylum of Slenderman or Gaunt. That sounds pretty cool. So thank you all for watching. I'm not sure if I'm gonna leave the I can't think. The link into the description. I don't think I'm gonna do that. I think I'm just gonna say the Rake Wikia, and it is the first one. It says creepypasta. Thank you all for watching. My name is Nick, Supergiant Gaming. This was the Rake. Very creepy. I'm gonna first rate the Slenderman Wikia. There was a lot of big words, so I'm gonna give it an 8 out of 10. And this one, there wasn't many big words, and I didn't, stutter much, and it was really, really interesting and kind of creepy, especially the story. So I'm gonna give it an 8 out of 10 as well. Thank you all for watching. My name is Supergiant Gaming, and goodbye, guys.